Sometimes we want to combine multiple strings into a single string. This is called concatenation. So we're going to see how this works now by way of a relatively straightforward example. So let's create two variables, Harry and then surname Potter, and we create a third variable now called name, where we're going to concatenate those two variables. So first name plus surname. Of course, got to be really careful how we use this operator here. It can also mean adding two numbers together. In this case, that's not going to happen because these aren't numbers, these are strings. Python is automatically set up so that it knows what to do in different situations. So it knows in this case to concatenate those two values, not to add them together. And if we now print out name, you can see what that outputs, name. And then if I run that, you can see that's done Harry Potter. Now it's probably not what we want, because what we really want is to have a space in between the Y and the P. So we can modify our concatenation here a little bit by putting in just a space. So let's do that. So we can do that, putting plus there, and then doing, so that here is the space between those two strings. So it's putting a space string, basically, that's what that is, between our first name and surname strings. So if I save that now and run it, you can see what happens. So it puts the appropriate space in between those two strings. I'm going to show you how we can iterate over a string so that we can access each character individually. Let's create a string. Let's call it hello world. And we then have a for loop, S here. So S now, of course, is the name of our variable, our string variable, that then goes into our for loop. And what's going to happen is every time we print out I here, so I is going to represent a single character within that string. And if we run it and save it, on each line now, or each time we print this out, it just prints out a single character, including a space as well. And that allows us to access each individual character of a string. In certain situations, you might want to take a list and put all the elements in the list into a string. We're going to do that by applying it to this list here. So we have a list of characters, and we're going to join those characters together into a single string. So we're going to create a new variable called s. This is going to be our string variable, and we're going to use dot join, and we're going to apply that then to the list L, and then we're going to print out S to show that this has combined all those letters, joined all those letters into a single string. So let's run that, and you can see that it's taken that and taken all those individual elements in that list and then combine them into a single string. Now this double speech mark here, this is the interesting thing, because what we can do is we can manipulate that to actually determine how we join them together. At the moment we haven't got anything between each of the characters, so this is nothing. What we could do if we wanted to, we could put a space in. If we change that to a space, we can run it and you can see how now it's put a space between each of those letters. We could even put like a dash or something. Again, run that through and you can see what's happened there. So this part of the join method here, this is what determines what goes between each of the elements.